It began as an ordinary morning in a quiet town where routines rarely changed. When a well-known local nurse failed to show up for work, concern spread, but no one imagined it would become a mystery that lingered long after the search began. She was familiar, dependable, and deeply trusted. Long shifts at the hospital, occasional volunteering, and quiet evenings at home defined her days. When calls went unanswered and messages remained unread, co-workers alerted authorities, expecting a simple explanation. Inside her home, nothing seemed out of place. Her car was parked outside. Personal belongings were untouched. There were no signs of forced entry or disruption. It looked as though she had stepped away briefly and never returned. Investigators initially considered the possibility of a random incident. The town sat near a busy route, and the idea of an outsider felt easier to accept than something closer to home. Search efforts expanded, volunteers distributed flyers, and the community waited for answers. As time passed, the investigation took a quieter turn. Detectives uncovered details of her personal life that few people knew. She had been under emotional pressure. Records suggested private concerns she had chosen not to share. Certain connections raised questions that shifted the focus of the case. Attention eventually moved toward someone familiar, someone woven into the same social spaces, routines, and trust. Nothing was immediately conclusive, only small inconsistencies, timelines that didn't fully align, details that prompted further review. The town struggled with the uncertainty. Public gatherings became moments of reflection rather than reassurance. People began to question assumptions about safety and familiarity, not because of what was confirmed, but because of what remained unclear. Later, authorities acknowledged that the case was no longer considered random. However, many specifics were never released. Investigators cited ongoing reviews, legal limits, and the need to protect sensitive information. What remained was the understanding that her disappearance came from within her world, not outside it. For the family, answers were incomplete. For the community, something intangible had changed. The comfort of believing that familiar places always mean safe places quietly faded. Stories like this remind us that some mysteries don't end with certainty. They leave behind questions about trust, about silence, and about the lives people live beyond what we see. If this story made you stop and think, take a moment to reflect on how many cases remain quietly unresolved. And if you're drawn to stories that explore the unanswered rather than the sensational, staying with us. Thank you for listening. You won't miss the next If you'd like to support the channel, a like or subscription goes a long way, and we'll see you in the next story.